Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Think Global, where the world is our home, where strangers become friends and friends become family. John, we're back in the studio again.
We are back. I'm so excited.
How does it feel?
Really, really, really good. I actually feels like it's been a long time, but I think, it just feels good. I'm glad to be here with you.
And behind the soundboard over there, we've got Zach, who is producing this. And Zach, I've been told that people love that intro music. So can we just hear it again in case someone is out there and they just need to dance or run?
I love that.
That is good. All right, we're going to get started. And John, man, we got some great friends.
This is our first time having a guest on the podcast.
That's right.
This is fun.
And we're glad to have him here. I'm going to introduce the person next to me here.
Okay.
This is JW. JW, good to have you with us, man.
It's awesome to be here.
All right. We're happy to have you here.
And am I introducing the person to my left as well?
Yes.
If you're watching the video, you can see all of us together. If you're listening on the podcast, well, you get what you get. But this is JJ. Is that what we're saying?
Let's call her JJ and JW.
Do you like that?
Perfect. I like it.
All right.
JJ.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. So here we are back at Think Global, and we're excited to have our guests with us because both of these individuals live cross-culturally. And this podcast is about Think Global, being people who live globally, and what it means to live globally. So let's start. We want to have a conversation here with them.
Yeah, I want to get to know them a little bit. Maybe just tell us a little bit about how long you've lived cross-culturally and anything else you want to say about yourself or family or whatever.
All right. I can
Where
go.
you're from. You can get into anything you want.
I'm going to go for it.
All right, go for it.
I am originally from South Florida.
All right.
I have been living in Asia for the last 16 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I've got a family. I've got a wife and 3 kids. Their ages are 14, 10, and 4.
Wow.
So I'm just going to do like a little bit of thinking in my brain right now. So that means all of those kids have grown up cross-culturally.
Yes, and the oldest was actually born over there.
All right. That's fantastic to hear. All right, JJ.
Yes. Yeah. So I am from Colorado.
Yes.
Love Colorado. And I lived in Asia for a couple years and then am now in the North Africa region, living there
Awesome.
for the last couple of years.
And
All right. And in the North Africa region, what's another name for that place where you live?
The country?
No,
The desert. The Sahara Desert.
Sahara Desert. When you say Sahara Desert, that sounds like so exotic.
That is the specific place. Yep.
Yeah, like
It's
you live
pretty much in the desert.
in an oasis.
Oasis of the desert. So
Yes.
there are nice trees, like date palm trees that are around, but then right next to it, just flat, dry, cracked ground. That's the
right.
desert.
Wow.
Yep.
It is the desert.
Kind of polar opposite from Asia.
Very much so.
Yeah. I mean, culturally,
It's hot.
hot. Yeah.
I mean, it's hot in Asia too, but man, the Sahara gets to at least 120 or so in the summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question then. So
Yeah, that was
how
horrible.
many people live in your little oasis? And then JW, how many people live in your town?
In our place, we have about 30,000.
30,000.
In our area?
That's bigger than I thought it would have been.
Yeah. You know people though. You go out into the streets and you go out to the little market and you'll see friends.
Okay, that's cool to hear. All right.
Well, I believe we have about 7 million.
7 million.
A little different.
Small town.
It's small. It's small.
Yeah, relatively speaking.
Relatively.
Yeah, and okay, I want to ask you this. So, like in your small town of 7 million, you're kind of known for something there. Like everybody wants to get it, everybody wants to buy it. What is it?
We are known for the vinegar.
Vinegar.
It is for the dark vinegar, and people love it, and it's known throughout the entire country.
All right.
I didn't know anything about it till I moved there.
That's
It's actually not bad.
Do you cook with it? Do
You cook with it, you dip your dumplings in it, you dip everything in it, and they even make ice cream with it.
No.
Yeah, I haven't tried it.
no, I don't want to try that.
I was
either.
hoping you would try it just so
No,
we
well,
could get
I haven't been around it.
Okay.
Is it like
Here.
vinegar flavored ice cream?
It's dark vinegar flavored ice cream. I hear it's good. People like it.
Okay.
But I have not been around where they're selling it.
All right, so we've got an oasis of 30,000, and you're known for dates.
Yes.
And town of 7 million known for vinegar. John, let's talk to them a little bit about
Yeah.
their experiences.
Well, I mean, there's so many places I want to go. I was trying to think of how I can start with an easy question, but how has living overseas or in a cross-cultural context helped you appreciate other people and other cultures more? I mean, that's a loaded question. You can go a lot of directions. But how has it kind of opened your eyes and made you more of a open-minded person?
Do you want me to go on that? All right. Yeah, definitely. So living overseas, at least the first time I traveled overseas, 19 years old, really experiencing a different culture. One of the things I noticed was just this shared humanity. There's things surface level like, okay, clothes and food, and those are fun to experience. And obviously you get to learn a lot about different cultures through those things. But as you get to know people and the relationships, what opened up a lot of my mind and different perspectives is listening. And listening to people who become friends, and listening to stories, listening to the trials and the tribulations, like the things that our friends are wrestling with, often will be similar. So there's ways to connect, and then really trying to empathize with that. Listening has been probably the main thing that has exposed me to like, wow, there's a different perspective, and it's beautiful, not just clothes and food and those things that you see.
But a common sense of humanity as well. Like we cry over the same things, we hurt over the same things, we laugh at some of the same things too. Like, so there's commonality. I think we said this on a podcast a while back. Like, people are people anywhere in the world, but at the same time, they have differing perspectives on things, and then you get to learn those things too.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, can I tell a story or a quick
Yeah,
story about that?
of
This
course.
is funny. So I was going on a Friday night just to bring rent over to our landlords. They live right next to us. And usually we just drop off the money. And then this time they were kind of jolly and we're chatting a little bit more. And they asked, have you ever eaten asida arbi? I was like, no, I've never had that dish. So of course they invite us in and they bring out this big old pot as we sit in the living room and give us spoons, and we're all just digging into the same pot of asida arbi and meat, and eat more, eat more, eat more. So just so generous and hospitable. So as we're eating, just chatting a little bit more, and they say, well, do you want to watch something? And so they put in an old home video of their wedding.
Wow.
25 years ago. so we sit and we're watching a wedding, and they're just glowing, like so happy and reminiscing, and the happiness, like that was that moment of, wow, we are humans, because weddings, love, belonging, like that just brought so much like happiness and joy into the situation.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what? And, JJ, on that, it reminds me of what we talked about I think it may have been the last one or the podcast previous to this, but where we talked about sometimes you just have to take time. And sometimes in our culture, we're so wrapped up in time schedules and pressures that we don't take time to listen, like you're saying. And so that's a lesson learned for us, is that sometimes you got to slow down and be present. And who knows what kind of influence you gained in their lives and the connection that was made just because you took time. So that's a big deal.
I think that was the episode on taking the long road home.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, what would you say? I want to call you J-Dub.
You can call me whatever you
J-Dub,
want.
all right, man.
It's good. I was thinking the same thing, what Jenny said, that people are people no matter where we are. And at the heart of it all, we want to be loved. We want to laugh. We want to connect with one another. And so whether you're in Asia, North Africa, North America, it's all the same. And I love that no matter where you go, we can laugh together, and we can smile, and we can have a good time. Even if we don't understand one another, we still can laugh, and we can still smile, and we can love one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good to hear. Okay, so let me follow up with that. All right. Obviously, let's be honest. No matter where we live, we have good days, we have bad days. So, let's just talk about that for a second. Like, living cross-culturally, your bad days probably are a little bit different than ours. Your good days are probably a little bit different than ours. And so let's choose a bad day. Like, what's a bad day? And then we're going to go to a good day.
Okay, so we'll bring it
Start
down
bad,
and back
go
up.
good.
Well,
Okay.
you never want to end down. You always
Right,
want to end up.
right.
So, like, let's talk about that. Like, if you remember an experience, or just like what's the makeup of a bad day? JW.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I had like really bad days, because I think it's a lot of perspective and how you take it. Like you can just be frustrated and just want to throw in the towel. But I think if you take something, your frustrations or whatever, and just say, you know what, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Like you're still going to survive. But I think for me, what a bad day might look like is just not being able to communicate
Right.
or not understanding the meaning of what someone's trying to say. And not just the words, but there's a back story to it or like something indirect that you're missing,
Cultural or-
cultural mishap that you're just like, man, like this is frustrating. I don't know what's going on. Somebody just tell me what to do. Somebody tell me what I should not have done or what did I do? And I think that's just what makes a bad day.
Right. But it's not like it's something wrong.
Right.
It's just a lack of understanding.
Exactly.
Sometimes we think, man, it's just, this is wrong. I quit.
Yeah.
Or they're wrong and they're not doing it right. But it's not that at all.
No, because I think you can go at it and be like, "Oh, we come from North America. Everything we do is correct, and what they're doing is wrong." But like, that's not it. Like, you just don't know,
That's right.
and like, you're just missing that part of the story.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. All right, JJ.
Yeah, bad days. I mean, that's big of like, that's a humbling spot to be in. And I think depending on who you are, everyone might experience a bad day. Like for me, not being able or capable to do like simple lifestyle tasks. Whereas I feel in my hometown in America, it's like I'm capable. I'm a tour guide. I know where this is. I know where to direct people. I know what hike to go on or whatever. But in a new place, and until you really start to have those the time, I guess that's frustrating.
Right. Yeah.
It's frustrating to say, I don't know even what bank, like how to walk into a bank. I don't know how to order things at the market. Like there was an Instagram post I was seeing, and the marketplace is sometimes one of the most like energizing places, but one of the most frustrating places as a foreigner because it's exciting. It's really fun to see all the cultural elements of it, but then it's so frustrating because it's like, I'm not able to do a lot
Yeah.
of things. So language is usually part of it.
Makes you feel like a
misunderstandings.
child sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you're at the mercy of everybody else helping you.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And,
Yeah, so it's humbling.
and I think you were talking that it reminded me of like expectations, like cultural expectations. Like we tell people often who first move to other countries, like don't expect to do all the things in one day that you can do in America. Like, okay, it's Saturday. I don't have work to do. So I'm going to do laundry, go grocery shopping. I got to run by the bank. I got to, do X, Y, Z. We're like, whoa.
The bank's going to be all day.
Yeah.
You're going to do
All
one
day.
of those
Maybe
things.
split the day into 3 things, 3 max.
Yeah. The bank's a full day affair. So,
And that reminds me, you use the word childlike, you use the word humility. And really that's what it takes, right? To live anywhere. We forget that here, but to live cross-culturally, it takes humility and a sense of childlike behavior on our part just to say, you know what, I don't get it all and I need help.
Well, you feel like a child when you're learning a new language.
That's
right.
Yeah, how you communicate is like child language.
That's right. That's
Well,
exactly right.
You're a bit in discovery mode, like a child too. Like, let's discover what it's like to, do this activity in town, or let's discover. I have to discover how to change my gas tank. Like,
Right.
It seems really mundane, but I'm discovering something
that's
new.
right.
So, like a child, you're discovering it new.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
and
is
you
a
can't-
good takeaway, right? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no,
What's
I was
that?
going to say, and children can't communicate either. Like,
Right.
when they're little and they can barely talk and they're like, I'm hurt, but they can't say that.
Right.
Sometimes you feel that way in a new language. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to say, I would want to open a bank account,
Right.
but all I can say is money.
Right. And again, there's so many good takeaways here, like discovery, right? So one of the basic beauties of life is discovering. Like, and sometimes we get to the place where we're at the place where we no longer want to discover. Like we've got it all, and that's when life becomes boring.
Yeah.
Like we've lost something when we no longer discover.
yeah, like curiosity.
Yeah.
Like keeping that sense of curiosity no matter where you live in the world or where you get to travel.
Right.
And then that's part of what makes the market fun. Is like it's a new experience. There's a curiosity. There's a childlike wonder involved. Like that's the fun part. Then the hard part is I can't figure out how to buy these eggs.
Exactly.
It's the newness, the things you
Yeah.
have never experienced before, and you see like, wow, there's like half a pig hanging up there, and they don't do that at Publix.
Yeah, or any of our shopping
That's
places,
right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
All right, what about a great day? Let's talk about like when the lights come on and boy, this is a great moment and you just feel great about being where you are. Like, so, what do you tell us about a day like that?
I think for me, it's like I get up and I just walk outside and I just look around and go, wow, I live here.
Wow.
Like, and then I see my friends that are in the marketplace, or I see some friend walking across the street and we just start talking. And it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like I can't believe that I live halfway around the world and I have friends here.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that. I totally agree. I would say it definitely involves people,
Yes.
because the friendships and the people make it worth it. Like those are, again, those connections that are with people I would never be able to meet, one, and maybe have completely different interests. But again, that shared humanity comes in. So maybe, yeah, it's a day where you do an activity, go to a coffee shop with a lady and just have a great conversation, get to maybe meet her family or just kind of have eyes opened in a way. Like I consider that a great day.
Yeah, that's
Because you're
awesome.
discovering, again, something new.
You get to see some new part of the city or the town that you didn't even know existed. And somebody takes you the back path, like that like trail that nobody's been down before. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this secluded beach that you didn't even know existed, but your friend took you there.
Yeah.
You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, JJ, there are no secluded beaches in the Sahara Desert. So, for Johnny, that's like, hey, a secluded beach. But, he's a beach bum, right? Like,
Right. He likes water.
he loves water.
I'm the mountain
I made
person.
that up though. That didn't actually happen. I was using that as an analogy.
Oh, see that, and you imagine that.
I
but,
did.
Like, if it's not a beach, what do you discover in the Sahara?
Yeah, in the Sahara, what do we discover? Well, you'll probably see a camel,
Yeah.
crossing the road. There are camel crossing signs quite often, but there could be a waterfall. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but you can get to some waterfalls that are in the Sahara. And then really fun are the palmeries. So our area is known for date palm trees.
Yeah.
And again, going from it's flat, it's brown, and then suddenly you drive into these trees, and they're all around you. And once they're tall and generations have gone by, it's just shade, and it's beautiful, and it's calm and peaceful and quiet. So those are the secluded beach. I guess you could say the
There you go.
palmery.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. All right.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you mentioned like it's the people, it's the friendships that keep you going. And so like going to the theme of this podcast, strangers become friends and friends become like, give us an example of that, a real world example. Tim and I do this podcast every month and we talk about this, but you guys are here. Tell us an example of like, that was a great moment when I watched this stranger become a friend. Now I count this person as a friend. And I think you have one on top of your head.
I do, yeah. I love our veggie lady.
Oh, wow. Explain a veggie lady
a veggie
first of all.
lady. Here's the deal. Like it floors people in North America to think that I have a produce lady because, we just go where the produce is cheap. And you go in the grocery store, there's just groceries everywhere. Like your apple, oranges, everything's in one area. And you got like one guy, you can't even get his attention to come help you.
Yeah.
But where we live, there's a lady with a little shed and it's tiny, but her and her family run the shed and everybody just shops in Asia every day, pretty much, or every other day. So we go to see her every day, every other day to buy veggies. And the kids come with us and she has a little rabbit. We feed the rabbit. But over time, which takes time, it's an ongoing relationship. It's not like we became besties the first day. But, after 3 or 4 years, after seeing her every day, she knows us. We know her family. We know them by name. She knows my kids' names and just starts. Now we have conversations that aren't just about veggies, but about life. And, when we want to buy pumpkins for carving, like jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween, she has to specially get them for us. And she's like, well, why do you want these? And we get to tell her. So we get to share our customs with her.
We're going to carve a face in it.
I
She's
know.
like,
She
you're
was
gonna do
really
it. What?
confused.
And then she has a cultural moment trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
You're not eating
Like,
it?
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
like, why do you want the big ones? They're not good to eat. No, we just want them. And so then we get to bring it back to her and show her, look what we cut up. And they're like, this is the weirdest thing ever. But we're building these bridges of friendship
Yeah.
so that, like even now, when I see her, she's like, how's the family? How, goes down by name. And I think it's not just her, but there's others in the community that, took a while to build these deep friendships with. But at first we would have never even known there's other people around there, but like she's my person. She's the one. If somebody gives me a pineapple and I have to walk by her, like I hide it because I don't want her to think I cheated on her because like she's my veggie lady
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
love her and like she's a stranger who became a friend.
Yeah. And you mentioned that she's your lady in that sense that she's your veggie lady, but in a sense you've become her people as well.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And she,
cool.
you're obviously not there right now. So
Yeah.
she probably thinking about your kids and misses
Yeah.
your kids and one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's gonna be a cool reunion when you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. JJ?
Yeah. So we have some neighbors next door, and they have an 18-year-old daughter. And she was quite nervous when we first moved in, not to know what to do with these Americans, but really wanting to talk at the same time. And so, yeah, we just wanted to make a welcoming space for her and have kind of had an open door policy, a little bit like a third roommate now, and spent a lot of time with her. First time we cooked with her, she was so confused. I was cooking pasta, cut up raw vegetables, put it in the pasta, put it in the fridge, put the sauce on top, and made pasta salad. And she just was confused. So very confused. She said, why are you eating pasta cold? Why are you not cooking the vegetables? And so anytime we do something for the first time, even for us, and then for her, she says, it's our first time. It's the first time doing this. It's the first time. And so she's so excited about it. And so throughout, having a lot of those experiences and fun things together, we talk about life, and she's 18 and studying for her college entrance exam, and talks about all the boys and the relationships and the friends, dramas, and seeing, pop culture songs. And she knows American culture better than me. So I'm learning from her, really. And her Instagram page is blowing up. These are ways of connecting now, which is new for me too. So slowly we just are really into some deeper topics. And she's hard to have these friendships that break, and betrayal and forgiveness and love. Like, what do those mean in our lives?
And you get to kind of be a big sister to her in a sense of like, advice and being there for her. That's really cool. That's cool.
I mean, tears have been shed. I mean, talking about her past and what she wants for the future and dreams, all those topics. And but then having fun. I mean, there's dance parties, there's all those things in between.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, exactly. So now far away, she's actually taking care of our plants.
Okay.
And so she sent a video and said, "Wait, here's the plant," watering it.
Oh
and
my gosh.
We're still talking.
It's kind of cool when both of you you hit it from different sides. One is you took the initiative in the sense of choosing that person, and that's where you go. You took the initiative by having an open door policy where they came to you. So it does go both ways in that sense of you have an open door, our lives are open. At the same time, we have to take initiative. Yeah. Both of those matter because they won't happen on their own. And we have to take the initiative on that. Right. So that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's you don't want to live in another country and just sit in your apartment and watch movies all day. Like,
even though you're afraid.
I mean, you're afraid of rejection or misunderstanding, as you were talking about earlier, like because that's what creates a hard day is when you get misunderstood. But
we're not knowing how to navigate,
not knowing what, or scared of a cultural faux pas. But I mean, you got to what you both have done. You got to put yourself out there and then build over time a relationship, a friendship that becomes meaningful, and literally a stranger becomes a friend, and then over time they feel like family. Like she may eventually or already feel like a sister, right? Because at this point, a third roommate. But anyway, that's really
it's
cool.
intentional. I feel
That's
like
right.
you have to put yourself out there and say, you know what? I'm not going to sit at home.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to make friends, and I'm going to open my door up for anybody to come in.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. This is great because a lot of the folks who listen to this podcast are people who either live in another cross-cultural setting or they're headed that way. And so you've been helpful. All this is great. Let me ask you this, though. There has to come a time when you say, like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this. And you're tempted to throw in the towel and quit. I mean, and maybe you can describe that for us, but then, what made you decide to stick with it? Because you've both been living cross-culturally for a long time. I mean, a lot of years. You're away from what would be your home. So there has to be a time when you say it would be so much easier just to pack our bags and go home. And what keeps you there?
Yeah, I think, J-Dubs over here has more experience than I. But again, I think it goes back to, what gets you there? I mean, there's just continual strains. Sometimes that's like, this isn't necessarily what I'm used to. And it's not my home that I grew up in, but it's a new home. And so those continual strains are wearing, I think. And kind of what keeps you is to remember those people and the again, that shared humanity for me. It's like thinking about the friends and the joy and really the honor it is that we have friends. Like he's walking out the door and says, wow, I live here. I get to live here. Those moments hit, and that continues. Like, I get to live here. That's a privilege.
So kind of what you're saying is, the strains, the challenges. It's sort of like this steady drip of that's hard. This is challenging. This is difficult. I was misunderstood. And those begin to pile up. So there has to be that moment of saying, man, I've got to get balanced here, because too often what we do is we find something to complain about instead of numbering the things we should be thankful for, right? I mean, there can be that imbalance, and that's when it gets overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of it's acknowledging too, I think, the losses. I mean, there are things that are lost when you live far away as well. And
Yeah.
so not ignoring that and just saying every day is going to be great
Right,
and it's
right.
fine, shove it under the rug. You know, I do think there's actually a balance of acknowledge those losses that happen, as well as the honor that it is to be able to do life overseas.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to hide from the reality.
Yeah.
That's right. That's good. J-Dub?
Yeah, no, I would say pretty much the same thing. It's like, yeah, there are a lot of pulls to bring you back to this side of the ocean, and there's a lot of good in that. Like people that say, when are you going to come back? You can get a better job. This, you know, you can live a better life. You can have a car, all this stuff. But it's like you think about the opportunities you have overseas and the friendships that are still there that are like, you know what? This is still good. Like, yeah, those things, that's valid. You have a valid point. Yeah, I could do those things, but it's okay. Like the friendships on the other side of the world are worth it to be a part of their lives and to laugh with them, to cry with them, to listen to them, to invest in their lives is what keeps you there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, and living on this side of the ocean, because I've lived overseas and now I live back here, and I can honestly say part of me is jealous of that understanding that you guys have of these cultures and the friendships that you have that I'll probably never have. Right, like you understand the culture, J-Dub, in the country that you live in. Like you understand that culture so deeply, and you understand I mean, you just moved there not too long ago, but you're understanding more and more. You understand it vastly more than I do, and that I don't know. There's a jealousy that I have of that, and so that's something you should be proud of.
Yeah.
And that, you know, the term I hear tossed around a lot is like becoming like a global citizen, right? And you guys are truly doing that, and there's a piece of me just kind of living my quiet life in Colorado where I'm like, man, I want to be a global citizen.
That's right.
But I think that's so valuable, like any international experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
before
that's
I was
exactly right.
wanting people to have overseas experiences. That was some of my job too. So we want that for people, because how you integrate those experiences into who you become makes you a global citizen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just expands your worldview.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, and what strikes me right now is that a lot of people tragically settle for shallow lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's their little parochial world, and all that matters is where I live, the neighborhood I live in, the job I have, and that's it. And they live and die, and that has been their exposure to the world. And you know, my hope would be that I would have a dissatisfaction with that. I don't want to be satisfied with my little world when the world is so big, so much to be appreciated, and so much to learn from it.
Yeah.
All right. So those folks who are listening to this and they're headed over somewhere, or maybe there's somebody out there saying, "Man, I'd love to be out there, and I'd love to taste and see and to smell the things that you guys are all involved in."
Maybe not that last thing.
Yeah, maybe
not
that
smell
last
thing.
Well, hey, there's some great smells out there.
There are actually.
there's both.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, when I think of fruit that I love and food that I love, I mean that gets me going.
Yeah.
But people are listening, so advice, like a piece of advice, couple pieces of advice about why and like how and whatever you would say to somebody if they were sitting right here with us.
Or we give them advice about going there or when they're there?
When they're either one, like, like they're either there, they're on the way
you like.
there, or maybe they're thinking about like, hey, one day I'd love to travel. I'd love to live cross-culturally like these two have. I mean, like, how do you go? What's your attitude? What heart should they have? I mean, anything like that. Just a piece of advice that,
Man,
that
there's
helps
a
them.
lot, but I would say,
Well, that's because you've been
be
there for a long time.
flexible. I'd
Yeah.
say flexibility is
Yeah.
is
Oh, that's a
big. I'd also say if you're gonna laugh later, laugh now.
Oh,
Did
that
he
was
steal
mine.
yours?
I think
Jay
you know what,
does.
like don't hold it in. Like you're gonna laugh. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like what you did, you probably did not corrupt the entire system or ruin it. No one's gonna die. It's okay. We all make cultural mistakes and just laugh about it.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, learn to laugh at yourself.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yeah. Don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to come
Well,
up with
now I
it.
got to think of
You
something
gotta think of
different. Okay. Well, well, first of all, I'd say do it. Yeah, let's go.
Yes.
You got to
Yeah.
take the risk because it is scary. And I think personality wise, there's a range. Some people are like, yeah, let's go do these things. And it is a really big risk. And so, yeah, I would say do it, first of all. And then, humility, I think, is just a big piece of anywhere you move somewhere new. Be a learner. The first thing to do is watch, observe, listen, and then again recognize like, yeah, we are all humans, and so we're gonna all make mistakes. But really, that listening ear. And I think empathy is huge with all of this. Of how can I learn, listen, and observe, and be a learner first, and then serve well.
Yeah.
And serve to meet the needs of people and not have my own agenda.
Yeah.
I think is really important.
All right, that's great. Hey, you know what? I feel like we could go on all day with this.
Easily.
This is kind of
I
fun,
got
but
several more things in my head, but I know we got to.
we got to land this plane.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, JJ, J-Dub, thank you guys for being with us. This has been fun for us. It's been a great time, and I think a lot has been shared that we can all learn from. And thanks so much for flying in for this particular podcast. John,
Wow.
John, any?
Wow.
I didn't know they flew in just for
I
this.
did.
This was on your dime.
Oh, okay.
Just to be here.
All right, send me the bill. This was worth it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
Anything
for
else
having us.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thank you for
thanks.
coming. Yeah. Anything you want to wrap up with before I close this off?
No, I really enjoyed having you guys, and we've been friends for a long time, and so
Yeah.
just catching up with friends is really, really fun. And
Yeah, it is.
And Tim, I'll see you next month.
I'll see you today.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. Listen, everybody, thanks for joining us again for this podcast, and we look forward to connecting with you again next month. This is Think Global, where the world is our home and where strangers become friends and friends become family. We'll see you next time.